Lenka, good morning. Indian Standard Time, of course, heading to midnight for you. Tell me this about what was your key takeaway from this debate? Do you think that Kamala Harris relied more on domestic issues, while Donald Trump relied for his votes coming in primarily on the regional or the global conflict issues as confidence? Would that be correct to say here?
Good morning, Pooja, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. Yes, it was definitely a surprising debate. To me personally, Harris did better than expected. You know, I was expecting this awkward laugh she's having every time she's speaking somewhere, and she managed to keep it together almost until the end of this. On the other hand, Donald Trump, he's usually very vocal. He loves to attack people when they're against him, sort of to, correct them. But he was very quiet. He was sort of reserved, waiting, letting her finish, even though she was, for example, attacking him. So both of them, they sort of switched their standards, talking style. And as you said, Donald Trump felt very strong on the foreign policy because he truly had no war. He truly met with all of the leaders, and they publicly, some of them publicly, as for example, the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, they publicly admire him. So he has a strong card on this note. On the other hand, Harris, she has been sort of hidden under Biden. So for her, it's way easier to sort of shine because no one really knows what she was doing the past 4 years. No one has any track record except that she was doing what Biden told her and what he was doing.
Also, Lenka, stay on with you because I just want to go across to Rohit if he continues to be with us. Rohit, do you also think that the whole range of the issues where the confidence came from both of these candidates, that for Kamala Harris it was about on abortion issues, specifically how the administration previously had taken a decision and via the court, and on taxes, while for Donald Trump it came on, I will stop the war, I will bring peace, why should Americans be involved? Do you think that was a kind of a distinguished rhetoric that they had chosen to speak about?
Well, Kamala has always spoken pretty well about abortion. I think that's one of the areas she's very comfortable with. She knows what her policy is going to be. And the other one, on foreign policy, and I probably should say the wars. I think Trump wanted to corner Kamala Harris because, as Trump said, there were no wars when he was the president. The war started only after he left the White House, and he wanted to corner them, saying that America is involved indirectly in these two wars, and he could probably end these two wars. So yes, I think your assessment is correct on that. But also, I also think that Kamala wanted to sort of distance herself from Biden's policy, and she was not able to do it.
I'll come back to you in just a short while. Lenka, I'll take that question to you and also to Geeta. Do you think, where do you think Kamala possibly scored a point, and where do you think Donald Trump perhaps kept his confidence in this debate?
On many counts, I think that Harris did quite well. She did manage to corner Donald Trump. When it comes to performance and economy itself, she had numbers to show for. When it comes to abortion, we know that it's a really divided house, and she tried to put Trump on the mat. But it is when the IVF conversation that she brought in. Maybe on hindsight she could have done without, because abortion itself was a big, reproductive rights itself is a big win for the Democrats. But the moment she brought that in, he actually turned it around and in his rebuttal spoke of how he's been an advocate of IVF, so on and so forth as well, and that almost fact-checked her. Immigration, another very important area where a strong point for Trump, but I think Kamala Harris also made her points quite clearly so in terms of what the policies are, and the entire thing about gun control and taking guns off the shelves is not going to happen, much to the dismay maybe of many people who are actually wanting that. But a clear policy decision there. Again, Republicans and those fence-sitters would be listening to what Kamala Harris as the Democratic presidential candidate is saying. The race issue, dictators, Medicare and climate change, all of them, I think.
Climate change, she also said that, he had earlier said it was a hoax. It's not, it's a reality.
Yes.
So, Geeta, stay on with you because Lenka also continues to be with us. Lenka, it was very interesting when he tried to also pin her down with that blatant, the word that he used. And if I'm correct, he said, she hates Israel. And he realized what he was saying because that clearly has a certain support base in America, or as a policy has been, as history has been with regard to America's decision to support Israel, that he said she doesn't want Israel to exist. If they continue, Israel will blow up.
In fact, if I could just add, Lenka, she actually goes on, he actually went on to say that Harris did not attend the joint session of the Congress when Netanyahu was there, and that she refused to meet Netanyahu. So he was backing it with what happened during Netanyahu's visit to the United States of America.
So that I felt was a direct charge because that is one big polarizing issue in US, isn't it?
Definitely, it's a huge issue, and I have friends who are Democrats and don't like Kamala Harris just because of this topic, because of Gaza and Palestine and Israel. They told me they don't want to vote for Harris because they think she's not doing enough to achieve peace and that she's letting the people in Gaza to get massacred. On the other hand, Donald Trump, he pointed out that, of course, she was not present at the speech of Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, which is a big deal. And he, as you also said, he predicted that Israel could disappear within 2 years if she would become the president. So she's having tough time of balancing this sort of position of, first of all, making happy the Arab Americans and also making happy the Jewish population, which is quite large in the United States. And she's sometimes not making happy any of those two groups because she's somewhere in the middle, one time saying this, another time saying that. I would like also to mention that the ABC reporters, they rather teamed up against Donald Trump. They were fact-checking him on the spot. They were almost going back towards him with all the questions. And some of the questions also felt like they were opinionated against him. I personally didn't enjoy it. I felt frustrated and it was painful to watch their moderation.